Good morning, brothers and sisters. Today we are reading from Proverbs chapter 9. We have Pastor Jason sharing. Brothers and sisters, peace be with you. So today we are reading from Proverbs chapter 9. So Proverbs, the book of Proverbs is divided into few parts. Chapter 1 to 9 is the first part, starting from the teaching of a father. Now we come to chapter 10, that will be the Proverbs of Solomon. That's how the book of Proverbs is divided. So chapter 9 concludes chapter 1 to 8. Something special about this chapter. There is a feast. It talks about a feast. Oh, there are actually two feasts. God is interesting, very interesting. So today is Thursday, the 30th of September. Then co-workers will go to different people's house in the Dingle village, move around in different houses, and then different houses will prepare different cuisine, gourmet. So we have Taiwanese cuisine, and then we have Singaporean gourmet, and we have food from nations. So people will try to invite people to come to their house and say, come and try my food. And here in chapter 9 is also talk about two feasts. The first one is the feast held by a woman of wisdom. But on the other hand, a foolish woman also laid out a feast. And they sent out same invitations. Verse 4, whoever is simple, let him turn in here. As for him who lacks understanding, she says to him, and it's exactly the same as verse 16. Whoever is simple, let him turn in here. And as for him who lacks understanding, she says to him. Verse 4 and 16. There are two feasts here. The title for today is Same Invitation, Choice of Life and Death. They both invite people to come for their feast. So how do you choose to go for A banquet or B banquet? How do you choose? It actually concerns life or death. So verse 1 to 6 is the feast of wisdom of a wise woman and brings life. Verse 13 to 18, the feast of a foolish woman brings death. And then in between we have verse 7 to 12. Different choices bring different outcomes. So today we must think about what are the differences between these two feasts. It just says, whoever is simple, let him turn in here. Verse 4. If you think that you are simple, do you think that you are simple? There is inviting simple people. If you do think that you are simple people, then you are on the list, invited guest. So there is a key point here. You must admit that there are many things that you do not know. You realize that there are not much you know about. You realize that you need help. Only those people are invited. You think that you are simple and lack understanding. If they send out an invitation like that, most of us don't go. But if you say that if you come to this, if you attend this banquet, you are able to improve, you will get better. You want to have more wisdom. You want to be more wise. You will be more prudent. You think you need it. Then you are one of the invited guests. You admit that you do not have enough wisdom. You realize, you admit that there are many things you do not know. It's a humility. Those people are invited. Simple and lack understanding. I may jump a little bit in order to make it a bit more smooth. Whoever is simple, let him turn in here. As for him who lack understanding, she says to him, the first point I want to make is that if you think that you are simple, you lack understanding, then you are invited. Otherwise, you will not be invited. It's stated clearly here. Verse 7. He who corrects a scoffer gets shame for himself, and he who rebukes a wicked man only harms himself. Verse 7. We want to be more wise. Then you must know what area you are lacking. But there are some people don't think that there's anything wrong with him. Some people think that there is nothing wrong with them. They are the scoffer. They think that they are awesome. And you say that you should not do this, and they say you should do that, then you will be ashamed. You will get shame for yourself. You will get shames from a scoffer. You will be laughed at by those the mocker. So you must know that those who do not think that they are simple, they lack understanding, they are not invited. Rebuke a wise man, you will be defiled. If you try to rebuke a wicked man, you only harm yourself. You will be ashamed. Verse 8. Do not correct a scoffer, lest he hate you. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love you. They do not listen. A scoffer does not listen. Not only does he not listen, he dislikes you, disdains you. But there is another kind of people. If you say that you're something wrong, they will thank you. A wise man will love you for rebuking him. So this wisdom is not like what we have in mind. The book of Proverbs talks about wisdom in our attitude. If you are teachable, you are willing to be rebuked, receive correction, you are willing to change, then you will be more clever and you will be more wise. And then you become a wise person. So wisdom is not natural born. It starts with a humble heart. Oh, thank you so much for telling me this. Oh, that's the case. Thank you so much. So next time, if you notice any of my mistakes, please let me know. And this kind of people will be more and more wise. Not the wise people who like to listen to instruction. But it's only those who are willing to listen to instruction, to correction, they will be wise. They will be more and more wise. But then a scoffer is not like that. You say I got something wrong with me? You something wrong with you. You say I have done this wrong. Well, you know, the other day you do that thing that was bad. They did not listen. They are not teachable. It will reflect. Are you the invited guest? It depends on our attitude. Verse 9, give instruction to a wise man and he will be still wiser. Teach a judged man and he will increase in learning. So a wise person will be wiser still because he welcomes everyone to give him advices. That is his attitude. So we may reflect on our own lives. Maybe people have not been telling me, reminding me anything. Is that the case? Well, you say that, no. I do accept instruction from others. I do accept advice from others. But the thing is, people can tell that you are not listening from afar. On one hand, we need to tell ourselves that we want to be a humble person. We want to be open. We're willing to take instructions, advices. If people want to speak truth into our life, we want to thank them. If someone wants to correct us, we will thank them. But we must, on the other hand, check whether we have, people come and speak to my life. Don't just feel good about yourself. Yeah. Do not correct a scoffer because, you will get shame, you will be harmed. But actually, no one gives me instructions or rebukes me or corrects me. Actually, I am a scoffer. We ask God to help us. As we go into the feast today, there are 2 feasts laid out for us. Only those who admit that they are simple, they lack understanding, will be invited. A scoffer, a wicked man are not invited. So how do you know whether you are a scoffer? There is a marker here. Verse 10, for the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. How do I gain wisdom? How do I have good judgment? What is the reference point? If we try to make decisions whether it's good or bad, good or evil, there is a reference point we need to make. You say, I will make my own judgment. But how do I make my own judgment? You still need a reference point. Yes, you say that you judge for yourselves, but you need a reference point. But if you judge for yourself, there will be a big problem. Because the heart is deceitful above all things. Who can discern it? I judge by my wicked heart. How can I be a good judgment? We must admit that God is most important between heaven and earth, and whatever He says goes. Whatever He says is the final, is the standard. then we are able to go into the court of wisdom. So we must be humble. We must admit that God is the ultimate authority. By His reference point, we make decisions, we make judgment. Then we are able to go in. Now we go into the two feasts. We can compare between these two feasts. Verse 1, wisdom has built her house. She has hewed out her 7 pillars. This house is solid, is firm. She slaughters her meat, makes her wines, also finished her tables. The hostess prepares everything. She pays the price, and she sends out her team. She sends out her maidens. She cries out from the highest places of the city. If you hear you are willing to turn in, then you will receive. Then you realize, wow, there are lots of feasts going on. This one is holding a banquet, that one is also inviting guests, so which one should I go to? You must know how to choose. Because every restaurant will say that they are the best. So, how do we know whether they are good? Verse 6 here. Forsake foolishness and live and go in the way of understanding. The Chinese understanding also means light. You need to take the way of light. The feast of the woman of wisdom is about taking the way of light. The light is one of the reference points. You want to be more wise? You must walk in the way of light. Everything you do will be able to come to the light. You don't worry that people find out what you are doing. You are not worried people talk about you. And you are not worried if people smear you. Because whatever the fact is, it shall be. Sometimes people come to me and say, I want to tell you one thing, but please don't tell anyone else. And I will say to him, do not tell me then. Then I will go, my wife definitely will know after you tell me. If Pastor Joshua and Simo ask me about it, I will definitely tell them the fact, the truth. I will not tell Pastor Joshua and Simo everything about my life, but, still, if they ask me about it, I will tell them. We need to be open towards people above us. If it's needed, if it's required, we will tell the truth. Yeah, I may not tell people about what you tell me, but there is a chance that some people may know. Then you decide for yourself whether you want to tell me. Light, transparency. Nothing done in secret. You are not afraid if people find out what you are up to. One key point about this one feature of the feast is in the light. You need to forsake foolishness and go in the way of light. I admit that I'm foolish, and I don't want to be like, how do I forsake foolishness? Foolishness is on me. You want me to forsake it? How do I forsake it? In the light. You need to go in the way of light. Everything can be known to others, but you don't have to tell people everything in your life. People may not be interested to know. But you must be prepared that people will find out. So, you walk in the way of the light, then it's fine. So that's the feast of a woman of wisdom. And how about the feast by a foolish woman? It's quite different here. Verse 17, stolen water is sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. Stolen in secret. So it's nothing about going in the light. We steal when people are not noticed. Do not notice. If people notice what you're doing, then you're robbing. You're not stealing. It's all done in the dark. It's in the secret. It seems like you don't have to pay a price. You stole it. You steal it. But the method is wrong. This way brings us to death. So you say water is water. Why is stolen water sweet? I remember something else. I want to give you another example. Nowadays, people don't really read books. But if you tell them this is forbidden book, really? A forbidden book? Okay, let me have a look. Let me have a look. So it's something like this, stolen water. People take great interest in stealing things. Stolen water, bread eaten in secret. So this stolen water or bread eaten in secret is more related to adultery. Proverbs chapter 5, verse 15, drink water from your own cisterns and running water from your own well. Do not touch any woman who is not your wife. So they use water as the metaphor. And then chapter 7 of Proverbs. So a woman hold on to find a youth, and he say, I have got the peace offering. I have peace offering with me. I have, freshly cooked beef, lamb. Come. My husband is not here. Let's take delight ourselves with love in secret. Bread eaten in secret. So here is referring to like adultery. Anything that is not in the light. So when I say that I am simple, I lack understanding, And then when I have to choose which banquet, which feast to attend, they all sound alike. They all sound attractive, appealing. So wisdom has slaughtered her meat. A foolish woman got peace offering ready with lamb and beef. How do you choose? Same meat. It depends on the advertisement, what is written in the advertisement. Here it says, you go in the way of light. But the other saying, it says, stolen. You don't have to pay a price. It's thrilling, it's exciting. Come. If you are appealed to this, then you will go into the depth. We ask God to help us. Same invitation. It concerns life or death. Such invitation is not for a scoffer. It's not for those who do not take advice, who are not teachable. The invitation is not for those who think that they are outstanding. There's people, you rebuke those who teaches you, who correct you. You are not invited. It's for those who are simple, who thinks I need to be reminded I don't have enough wisdom. My judgment is not good. And then if they are willing to walk on the way of light, they will join the feast of wisdom. They will have long life. They will have peace. But on the other hand, that the way of stealing, a way of darkness, the way that you don't want your wife to know about, the way that you do not want your friend to know, something that you will have to go in secret, that way will lead to death. We ask that God will help us. Let's worship our God. That's the end of the message today. Thank you.